We're good.
Hi everyone, and welcome to ABC Home and Commercial Services' very first Facebook Live. Today we're going to take some time and look over some frequently asked questions to our industry, be able to give you guys some more knowledge. We also wanted to thank everyone who is a customer that is tuning in and listening to the live today. And if you're just tuning in to learn some pest control knowledge, welcome. We hope that you also look to us to do some services. But with that, let's kick it off, and I'm going to welcome everyone that's here. So please introduce yourselves to the audience today.
Hey, so good to be here. My name is Ray Villegas. I'm the commercial director for the pest control side. So good to be here.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you.
And I'm Dennis Jenkins. I'm his dad. Been in the pest control business my whole life. Came to DFW in 1989 to start ABC here. So been around for a long time.
Awesome. And with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the questions. I do believe that you, Dennis, have the first question,
Yes,
so if you please read it and
I
answer.
have to read the question.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
It says, how is ABC different from other pest control companies? And I think there's a lot that makes us different. Number one, we are an independent, family-owned business, right? So there's a lot of pest control companies out there that are independent, family-owned businesses. Then there's a lot of the corporation ones. But what I think makes us different is the multi-generational. So I am a second generation. My father started or had ABC in San Antonio, and that's where I grew up. Came here in 1989 to start ABC in DFW, and now the next generation, Russell, is taking over the business, and that's really cool. And that's true not only for this market, but ABC, we have three brothers. All three brothers went into the business, and all three of us have the next generation involved in the business. So we're independent from others, and we are here to stay, and we're going to be here for the next generation at least.
Absolutely. I think you also have question number 2 today.
I think I do.
This is an audience submitted question.
Yeah, audience was, how can I keep snakes and lizards away from my porch and home? You know, the truth is, it's a matter of cultural control, really, to keep your lawn mowed, keep your the area around your house free of like weeds and large plantings and things like that. Have an area up close to the house where you have some clear area or just grass. And if you keep the maintenance down, you will really do a lot to making sure that snakes don't want to hide there, because that's all they're looking for is a place to hide. And the next one is really kind of related in a way to me. It's how do I keep chiggers out of my yard? And it's really the same thing. What you want to do is to make sure that you don't have a lot of standing water in your yard, that you absolutely are keeping it well mowed and maintained. And if you're doing that, you're going to do the best job you can. Chiggers are kind of ubiquitous, which means they're kind of everywhere, but you will have a lot less than in a yard that is not as maintained.
And do know if you're not able to, if that's not getting rid of them for your house, you can also call the professionals. We will do something called a power spray for the yard. That'll also reduce that population, kind of giving you comfort back into your yard. One of the other questions that we have today is, are our products safe for kids and pets? I do want to assure everyone that we are very careful when we come to selecting products. We also approach it with integrated pest management, also known as IPM. And so what we're going to do is go do an inspection first of the yard or your property to make sure that we're doing everything we can possibly before we actually grab any chemical off of the truck to take care of your pest needs first. And if we notice that there's a population that's going to require some of that, we make sure that we follow the label, we follow the law, we make sure that we do everything according to the book to ensure that we are keeping our customers safe, the environment safe, and being good stewards in our industry. It's something that is very important to us, and we want to make sure that we're giving you your yard back, but you're also comfortable making sure your kids are running through that yard barefoot, having a good day, having a good weekend, and you're able to actually enjoy the comfort of your own home. The other question we have is, how have pest control pesticides evolved for our safety and impact? We used to utilize a lot of different products that are no longer on the market or heavily utilized today, and a lot of that's because of cross-contamination issues that could have been overutilizing a product, or just figuring out more strategic ways to take care of pest issues without utilizing a strong chemical base. One of the things that you could look to is used to be back in the 70s, 80s, where there would be big clouds of smoke behind trucks, and that would be taking care of a lot of the pests throughout the neighborhood. We don't do that anymore when it comes to the industry. That's not really common practice. The only time you'll ever see that type of application in a big format, it's a different product, but it's going to be agriculturally. So like if someone's actually trying to take care of their crops, that's not something that you see a lot of pest providers take care of. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Ray for the next one.
Okay, so I got why can't I do pest control myself? I think this is a really good question for the homeowner if you're looking, and also for business owners. So I guess the answer would be because you want the best results. And let me just elaborate on this a little bit. One of the things if you do your own pest control is that you might be at the end spending more money than what you want. Another thing is that you want an expert to go and do the pest control that is actually needed. So one of the things with pest control is talking about the homeowner is that, yeah, you can probably go buy products and do it yourself, but then you will have to go and learn, read the labels, if you read them. A lot of people won't read them. So, and then not only that, you want to know what type of pest you're having, because treatment is going to depend on the pest. So let's say you do it and then you might be lucky and get some results, but maybe not. And then you will have to call a professional. So at that point, you will end up spending more time, more energy, and then more money. In the case of the business owner, for the most part, you cannot do pest control yourself. I mean, it's required by law that you have to hire a licensed company to come and do the treatment. So, but if let's say you want to do it, then another thing is the risk. And one of the risks is that you can make the pest problem even worse. And just to give an example, let's say ants. For most of the people out there, when they see ants, they will see just ants. Mm-hmm. But we know that if there's different species of ants, and then depending on what ants are, we need to do the treatment according to that, because then if not, then we can create a problem that is even worse than what you had at the beginning. And that's another thing. If you call somebody at the beginning, it's probably going to be less expensive than if you call somebody after you try to do something and then you made that problem worse. Mm-hmm. So why can't you do it? It's because I think it makes more sense to call a professional. One of the things is that with ABC is that we have extensive training with our technicians, so we can give you a warranty that whoever is going to go to your house is going to know what to do. It's going to take the time. It's going to do an inspection first before doing a treatment. And then you will have the warranty that if the pest comes back, we will come back and we will redo it. So I think overall makes more sense for anyone, homeowners and business owners, to call the professionals and then let us go, take the inspection, do the inspection, see what is needed, and then do the treatment that is actually needed and take care of your problems. And you will have the peace of mind that you don't have to be dealing with this. You can actually focus on the things that are more important to you. In your case, I mean, the homeowner, your house, and your family. In the case of business owners, well, obviously your business, and not having to worry about killing bugs. So,
awesome. I think you have the next one.
Let's see. Where am we? Oh, there we go. Can a technician still treat my yard if it's raining? And what happens if it rains after the treatment? If it is actively raining, we tend to not treat people's yards just for a lot of safety reasons, and we don't know how much rain that's going to be. If it rains after we treat the yard, it depends on the amount of rain. If it rains to the point of runoff and things are moving, then yeah, we probably would need to reapply. But if all it does is just kind of water the grass kind of rain, then what you're looking at is that being washed off the leaves of the grass or off the leaves of the plant and into the soil, which is where most of those problems are anyways. So it doesn't really hurt. We don't need to apply again if it just had a rain right after a treatment. But there are times when if it's a gully washer, if it's a whole lot of rain, then we probably need to come back and do another treatment. So it just depends on the amount.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the next one is, can you treat for wasp without harming pollinators? So the answer is yes. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have concerns about pollinators and bees. And I gotta say, I'm a beekeeper myself, so I do know that there's a concern. But as far as treating for wasp, yeah, we do not do broadcast sprays for wasp. So we go, we locate the wasp nest, we treat it, we remove it, and then that way we don't put any other pollinators at risk. So yeah,
absolutely,
we can.
Absolutely. Okay, the next one is pest control worth it if I live near a creek and wooded areas? Absolutely. Honestly, that just makes it more cause for you needing some pest control. The main reason being, if you're going to have a creek that's in the back, you're going to have more likelihood of having mosquito pressure, you're going to have more likelihood of having some fly pressure, things of that nature that could accumulate around there. So making sure that you have someone who's a professional that can come out and use multiple different control methods to reduce that population and keep your environment more comfortable. I highly recommend that, honestly, if you are living next to that, you're going to be more susceptible to those insects being a part of your livelihood. So utilizing a pest professional to help take care of that and reduce that is going to be critical.
I think I'm next. Do I need to treat inside and outside, or can my tech just treat the outside perimeter? I think that the answer is going to be basically it depends, and it depends on what pest problems you were having at that moment. But once we're into a regular schedule and we've kind of solved the interior pest problems, the exterior perimeter is going to be the biggest stop or the biggest defense to all the invaders that would be coming in. So it works very, very well. But there are some pests that will live inside the house with you and not really be coming from the outside. So when you're dealing with things like bed bugs or German cockroaches, which are the little guys that are in the kitchen area, those are going to live and breed inside. So if you're having those, we definitely do need to come inside. So the answer is quickly, it depends on what we're dealing with. If it's a pest that is coming from the outside treatment is going to be fine. If you're having an issue with a pest on the inside, then we do need to, if we come and do an outside only, we definitely should return and come and do an inside job completion.
Absolutely. This kind of goes in that same vein. It says, what should I do if I still see pests after the treatment is done? Well, it depends on how long you're talking after the treatment. It also depends on what type of treatment you had, because there's so many different species of insects that we're dealing with, and a lot of the chemicals or the products that we utilize may have different life cycles for actually taking care or reducing that population. An example to that would be if we put bait throughout the yard or bait inside your house, you're still going to see those insects for the next couple of days after that, because what they're doing is actually grabbing that bait and bringing it back to the colony and bringing it back to everyone else and sharing it. And that's actually how we're going to control that population. So that's going to take a few days. If we treated this morning and you're still seeing them that night, you're going to still see that. Even with a lot of the other treatments we do, it takes a few days for that to really fully get to the effect that we're wanting for that population. So if you're only seeing it after a few days, then allow the product to do its work. If you're seeing it 5 days later, 6 days later, 7 days later, that's when we start to have some concerns and saying maybe that population is greater than we had first anticipated. But understand that if you're doing pest control with us here at ABC, we'll come back in between those quarterly services at no additional charge to our customers to make sure that we are taking care of those pest populations, because some of these, it's going to take more than one application to fully control those populations as well. An example is if you have a higher infestation of roaches, that's not going to be something that's necessarily going to be taken care of in one single treatment. Another one, are plants or natural substances good at keeping ants out of the house? So, yes, you could look online and find a lot of articles about different oils that you could potentially use, different plants. I'm not going to say that they are not effective whatsoever, but I can tell you that I have put peppermint oil out before and I still see insects crawling all over it, and they don't care about it whatsoever. So really it's going to be a case-by-case basis, but we would tell you the best way to fully control that population, making sure you have a comfortable living environment, is getting a professional out there, because any of the natural methods are not necessarily going to be as effective as what we can do. As well as it may be more cost effective to call a professional than you go and spend all this money on things that may or may not work at your house.
So the next one is, how can I prevent cockroaches, speaking of German and American? So I'm gonna try to be brief on these because this is a big one. So I guess the main thing, and I would say that this is the main factor, is sanitation. Sanitation is key when we're talking about German roaches, also in a sense for American roaches, but sanitation. So making sure that your house, your business are clean, that you're not leaving food behind, that there's no debris behind the appliances, and obviously that is gonna help. The other thing is that be aware of things that you're bringing in home or into your business, because I mean the cockroaches don't just come out of nothing. So there's gotta be a cockroach that comes from somewhere. So when we say that, is that if you go to a garage sale and you're buying something, you gotta be careful of what is in there, because that's how people bring cockroaches in. Or you go to the grocery store and you might bring them from there. Or in the case of a business, I mean, whenever they are bringing in everything that they bring from the warehouse, taking an inspection, look for any signs of roaches. That will be a preventive measure. And then also, I mean, treatments, preventive treatments. So that's why we offer quarterly services for homes, and then in the commercial setting, monthly services, so that we can every month or every quarter do an inspection and make sure that if at the first sign of an infestation, we can do something before it gets really big. Because when it gets really big, then it's going to take more services to make sure that we take care of them. So preventive treatments, having someone that is looking and knows what to look for, that's the thing, because the reality is that homeowners sometimes don't know. So for German roaches, that is very crucial. And for American roaches, one of the things is moisture. Whenever there is a leak, if there's a leak in your house that you haven't fixed, that is probably going to attract American roaches, and then they start coming out of the pipes. On commercial settings, the sewer. I mean, if they haven't come to clean the grease trap in the sewer, that can become a really big issue. We have seen that, where they travel through the pipes and then they start popping up, and nobody wants to see a big flying cockroach in a restaurant, right? So prevention, and that is why it is important if you have a professional that is coming every month and is looking around, is inspecting the right places, so that he can tell you before we got these sightings, and nobody wants those sightings. So that is the thing. And then the next question is very similar. How can I avoid ants in my house? So same thing. I mean, sanitation. You don't want to be leaving food out, because ants are going to be attracted to food. A very important one for this is exclusion. I mean, sealing cracks, making sure that there's no openings where they can travel from the outside. And then for ants, very important, we want to treat them outside. I want to say we want to kill them in the nest instead of inside your house. So for that, you need a professional to go out, treat outside, put granules, put baits, and then we treat them outside before they make it inside. So that is how you prevent all these issues.
For sure.
Do insects attract insects? Yeah, they do. I mean, what happens, I mean, so when some insects, when they die, they definitely attract other insects that will come and feed on the chitin, which is the protein that is in the exoskeleton of the insect, right? And so you definitely will have it in one insect attracting another. Other ones will be that you're in the area, and I say insects, but pests attract other pests, right? So if you have rodent issues, well, the rodent droppings, the food that spills, that they're not the cleanest eaters on the planet, so they will definitely attract insects. So absolutely, insects attract insects, and that's one of the reasons you want to try to not only think about what's inside the house, but also consider the yard and the outdoor living environments. Today's world. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, the outdoor area was where you mowed the grass and where the dogs lived, and that was it. In today's world, the dogs live inside with us, so remember that they're bringing the possible bringing pests inside with them. But the other thing is we're not outside as much. But we have outdoor living environments where we have a table and we eat and we do things and we cook outside, and all those kind of things just increases the amount of food sources for pests on the outside of the house. So insects will attract insects. You're attracting insects. To think that there was a magic wand that we could wave and you would no longer have insects in your home, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it takes work, and quite frankly, I believe that it takes a lot of knowledge about the pests themselves, their biology and behaviors, about the materials that we use.
Yeah.
The wrong material on the wrong pest is going to do nothing.
Yep.
But certain materials, are more broad spectrum, and some of them are very targeted. We like to use the targeted ones.
Well, and another example on that even is that insects are social creatures, right? Just like humans, and they like to interact with one another. So another thing that they'll do is actually lay pheromones around, and if they lay those pheromones around, that's also going to that's telling all the other insects, especially ones that they're a part of, that this is a safe environment, you can come here. So when they're putting those pheromones out, you're actually going to attract more pests when it comes to that as well. One of the last questions, it is for the entire table. So I'll open with Ray on this piece first. What are your favorite insects?
I gotta go with bees. Yeah. I'm a beekeeper, so I love bees, and I do like some other ones too. Wasp. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the quick answer for me has always been a dead bug. That's what I've done my whole life. So, but I mean, I've always been very fascinated with praying mantis. I think it's really interesting. The mating habits of praying mantis are pretty darn interesting. During the mating process, the female turns around and clips the head off the male. And the rest of the body, because they have a decentralized nervous system. We have our brain all right here, and we have nerves coming down. They have brain pieces that are all through the body, right? So even though the head's gone, the body keeps doing its job. So that continues, and generally speaking, after the deed is done, the female will feed on the male. So it's one of those kind of interesting pieces out there in the insect world. Yeah, it's kind of pretty interesting. I've always been fascinated by that. So
that happens with bees too. The drones die.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They mate and die.
Yep.
Well, the funny thing is, my favorite one is bees. My second's praying mantis, and my third is spiders. So I'll give you at least a new one. Another reason why I like spiders is they're hunters, so they're gonna actually, if you see spiders present, more than likely you have other insects on your property because they're there for a food source. But I look at those as beneficial insects, so it's one of the reasons why I like them as well. They're an arachnid, so they're a little bit different, but still in that family. The last question is, that actually was the last question. So that is
on the spiders. There's really only two you ever need to worry about, and that's the black widow and the brown recluse. Other than that, spiders are beneficial.
Absolutely.
So if you have those two, you need to get some treatment. And it is best to call a professional, in my opinion. Of course, I am a professional, so my opinion will always be that. But it is very true that those two are the ones you need to worry about. Others, really, if you can deal with it, leave them alone, because they're out there helping you do pest control.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here today. I think that wraps us up for today with all the questions that we had from the audience today, as well as others. We hope that you got some helpful tips. I cannot talk. Helpful tips today, and that you learned something new about the pest industry, some insects, something to that nature. But until our next conversation that we have with you guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Cheers.
Have a great one.